Buckle up, friends. We are about to go on a wild ride.
Hi, friends. It's Sarah from Ruffles and Rainboots, and over the past month, I've been able to make so many items using the new xTool M1 Ultra. This thing is pretty cool. We can use it as a laser, we can cut wood, we can engrave wood, we can score. We can also engrave slate, we can cut some acrylic, engrave it. We can make amazing creations. We can use prefabbed items from xTool, or there's space that allows us to purchase them. In this machine that xTool sent me for a review, I will tell you, I have used vinyl, wood, leather, fabric cutting. I have used felt. I have used foil features. I have printed on paper. I have printed on wood. I have combined everything you're seeing here using only the xTool M1 Ultra. It's a pretty impressive machine. When you get the box, you'll see there's tons of stuff, but xTool is also releasing more modules. So the setup takes about 15 minutes. Open this page, just check that you have everything, including some materials to get you started. I would actually buy more wood at least, to be honest, and possibly some slate. It is ridiculously well packaged, but at every time you get something new, you want to unbox it, just make sure that there's no cracks in the lids or anything. So here I am taking out everything. Here's the money piece. You can get a 10-watt or 20-watt laser module with the easiest installation system ever. So my set came with a ton of variables, including the basic cartridge here and the multifunction cartridge, along with an ink printing cartridge, and I also have, obviously, the laser cartridge. Now, the real thing I'm showing you here is go ahead and get this little key. This is the key. There are two of them. It won't work without that, so go ahead and take that out. I also have the pen tool feature for that basic cartridge. Now, don't forget this part. It'll make an ugly sound. You're gonna keep these. These little screws are great if you're moving and you wanna lock the laser, or if you have to send it off for any warranty repair. So as you can see, I am blowing through this installation, and the reason is most of it's done for you. Again, less than 15 minutes it took me, and this is pretty cool. I want to show this because you do not need to be a laser expert. You are going to have the easiest time swapping these modules. This is real time. I popped it in, I closed over this little lever, and we are legitimately ready to use our laser. I'm going to pull this forward and pop out this one last thing. Looking at this, my suspicions were confirmed that the exhaust fan is actually in this little module. Super cool. We can make it go left or right depending on whatever window or door setup you have. We're going to pop in a filter, and then it's literally as easy as clicking this onto the back. I'm not kidding. And look, we're done. Okay, so you can vent this directly out of a window or a door, but I'm actually going to use their new desktop air unit. So over on the back, we have a couple of changes. We have some air assist and flame detector on off. This is AC. This is where the key goes. And on the very far right, you need to set up an USB connection first before we can go wireless. And I'll show you how to do that in this video. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the M1 original, we have a really cool feature in which we can use blades and lasers. We can also use the snapshot feature, which is by using a mobile device to take a picture on the bed. So I'm also going to, I can't say set up because it's fully assembled. The riser now comes with the honeycomb. You want the honeycomb if you're doing laser work. Look how much additional space you get with the riser. I do recommend this little add-on, honestly, if you're doing a lot of engraving work or if you want to do tumblers. It's super easy to set up. That's literally it. You take out the base plate with 2 screws, pop this on. Look at this. You have a handy little door for snacks. It's perfect for Skittles or tools. I mean, but snacks work. All right, so here I am, quote, installing the honeycomb. If you don't want to use the riser base, you can elevate material using this handy little ladder system they devise for the triangle prisms to elevate. So as I mentioned, this comes fully assembled. This is the air purifier, the desktop version. It has this pre-filter that you can wash and then filters that actually pull this through. I have used 100% of the crafts I showed you in the beginning and will show you at the end with this purifier. Most of my crafts with the blade do not even require anything regarding air. So here you go. I'm going to pop in the key, and then we have to pop in that USB connector. Don't forget, I have a MacBook, so I had to have a little dongle. But you can see here, I just turned it on. We get a light. Now listen, it's going to home. Two in the back and two on the left side of the machine if you're looking at it. Now to connect, you're going to go into XCS. I'm using 2.0. We're going to go to the Wi-Fi system, hit the machine that's showing up. You may have to update your firmware. I did, so I went ahead and did that. Over at the top right, these are the device settings. You want to go in here. You can change the name. You can also find out really cool things about how many minutes or hours or whatever you've used. That's in this one. But if you continue going down, you can see I can change the buzzer, the exhaust time. I can change the lighting in the actual unit if it's too bright. I can even control certain settings like the auto air assist. I love that. To be honest, that's my favorite feature. And then we have calibration. To set up Wi-Fi, we're going to go back to that basic info. It's going to find your Wi-Fi address, put in your password, and hit next. Now, you are not done after you hit complete, okay? So hit complete, then go back up to that center of the software, and then we're going to go down to connect device. Now click on Wi-Fi. If you click that or it auto connects, then you can remove your USB and you are connected via Wi-Fi. So I'd like to talk about settings in the software. Most of you, if you have a cutting machine background, you're gonna know a lot of this software already. But this is the primary place where you're gonna select millimeters to inches. We're also gonna be able to download software from here if you have a software update coming. But the software and the hardware also come with a user guide linked right in here. Isn't that easy? So up at the top right there. I'm going to create a shape, which you can do one of two ways, the basic shape menu or the extended shape menu. So I'm just going to choose a heart. I love testing with hearts because I get a point, a curve, and a straight line. So I'm going to come over here and copy and paste it, choose one engrave, and copy and paste, choose one cut. Now you have score, cut, and engrave. You've told the laser what to do. You can move these individually or select them all. You can right click to change the layers to color code everything, like I tend to do. And primarily, we can even do things like format. We can vertically align and horizontally distribute. Again, we can group these all together and move them as one, but you're basically set up now to go over to this processing menu at the right. Now, I'm blowing through this. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to share more tutorials on my channel. I already have a ton. But first we need to enter mode, material, and distance. That's the first things we need to do. Below that, we're going to leave it on auto planning, especially if you're new. We're going to focus on marking or shooting the background. Today we're going to focus on marking because I want to highlight this pinpoint accuracy is insane. So, as I mentioned, we already told the laser what to do. We're lasering on a flat surface, right? So here are all of the options this machine can do. Don't get overwhelmed. There's a ton. But for a crafter, you're going to love it just like I do. All right, so I'm going to choose, going back up, lasering on a flat surface. I'm going to choose Material Easy Set Library. Now listen, you don't have to know how to laser a single thing. I mean, you have to know about lasering. You just have to know what you're doing. On, I'm using the basswood, so I'm going to add that. And then look, I just choose my machine. I choose my wattage. The M1 Ultra will come with 10 or 20 watts. Then I choose what I want to do. Cut, engrave, score, bitmap, engrave. It tells me for every one of these woods, I don't even know what that wood is, but it's in there. I can do any of these and always get my settings that I need. This picture right here is even clickable. So if I want to change it to engrave and I really, really, really like, this one over here as opposed to the default, I can do that. Then I can hit this green button. It'll auto load it for me. How cool is that? I think that's the best thing since sliced bread. All right, so we are now going to load in these settings. So we just saw that the settings for basswood were 100 power and 6 speed. You can either click that green button and it'll load it for you, or you can come in here and type it in. So I'm going to look in here. I'm going to look at engrave was 35 and 100. Then I'm going to look at score at 60 and 60. So now I know those as well. So I'm just going to type those in. Again, you can hit the green button. You don't have to know a thing about lasers, and you are legitimately ready to tell the laser what to do. Isn't this cool? Okay, so speaking of, I'm going to use the little piece of basswood plywood that came in the kit. This is in your materials kit. I'm going to lay it down on my honeycomb. Again, I don't have an air assist set up. Now I want to show you why I'm laying it down on the honeycomb is because that's not even. Lasers love it when you can even it out. So I'm going to pin this down, put the crosshair over my material. I'm going to go back to my machine. We've already done the first two. We're going to hit the distance. This auto measures your distance. This is the feature, along with the pinpoint positioning, that I have 100% believe that the S1 was my best laser because of this feature. All right, now I don't want to lose you, but all we have to do to say where we want the laser to process now is called marking. So I'm going to show you in the laser, I put the crosshair at the very top left of the material. I'm going to hit the white button, and in the software, it's going to make a little red dot. Boop. You're not done. Now we're going to take the whole laser module, we're going to move it, and we're going to hit that white button again. And now look what happens. Now we have a big old rectangle. We're going to hit end marking and done and drag whatever we want inside that marked area. Look at that. Okay, you're done. You're legitimately done. Let's frame it. Framing allows you to see what the laser's going to do without it putting any power. So when I have that little white blinking light, now I can hit the start button, which is the silver one, and it's going to just map out where those little 3 hearts are going to process. Look at that. Now we're going to hit framing completed, and we're going to hold on to our bottoms, guys and gals, because now we're actually going to process. So up in the right-hand corner, you hit process and 2 things happen. It's going to give you the laser module trajectory and the estimated time. It's also going to tell you over here on the upper right which like base plate or riser base that you're using, your module you're using, and then you can hit start. Start sends this file to the machine, and once it does, you can hit start on the machine, and this is what happens in the software. But honestly, let's just look at the laser because it's really cool. Okay, ready? I hit start. I also turned on my air purifier. Immediately, the machine starts to process. This is at real time. It will do the engraving of the 3 first. So engrave, then score, then cut. This is a dark engraving, even through this safety glass. Speaking of safety glass, we are not using goggles because it protects our eyeballs. This is a class 1 item with the same safety rating as your electric toothbrush. Okay? We are always going to stay near our machine because this section right here, which is the cutting, we want to make sure there's no flames. I let my machine pull the rest of the smoke out. When the machine stops, you get these little notices, hey, we're all done. We can open it up, and I'm just going to pull this right out. So we push back the little laser module so we don't hit it. And we're going to unclip our machines, or sorry, unclip our pins. And then this, oh, it almost fell out. I'm just going to pop this out so it doesn't fall out. There we go. Hey, guess what? I dropped it anyway. Anyway, I'll get that in a second and show you. But look at our engraving. I'm going to try the thumbprint test. It's great. The scoring came out. Let me look at the edges on this. Perfect. This was my very first action. I didn't practice anything. This was it. All right, so let's hit complete and do a real project. I'm going to go out to Creative Fabrica, download these because they're hilarious. I'm going to choose them all to cut. I'm going to put in my settings. Again, we're using basswood. We know it's 106. So I'm going to go ahead, highlight all, put in 106. That's done. Now I'm going to need to measure the distance for my material, mark my material, and frame my material. Guess what? We're done. We're ready to process once we bring our material in here. I'm going to set all these to ignore because I only want to do one to see how it's working. Now we're going to process. You can see it's going to take about 6 minutes. Look how they came out. There's no sanding. There's no additional work on these. Perfect. Okay. What happens when you want to switch into one of the bajillion other modules? Watch. I unclick this lever. I just simply pick this up. Look. And then I'm going to take out the honeycomb because I'm going to go to the printer function, which requires the base plate. Oh yes, I'm going to print on some wood. Because my wood is all janky, I'm going to tape it down so it's even. I'm going to pop this little piece right in here and put it right onto the base plate. I just followed the instructions in the book. I take the lid off, put that over there as well because it's self-capping. I'm going to pop it in so the pins connect, put over the lever, open the door, and then plug this little USB-C thing in and pop that back on. Guess what? You're ready. So I'm not going to go through the whole process, but look at this. When it's ready to print, it goes down, touches down, does this little printy thing, and then immediately just starts printing. And then it picks it up, and then it goes. I will spare you my doots, but look at this. This is like so cool. Okay, so once it's all done, it's going to go and put its little cap on. Isn't that hilarious? I just think that's so nice because now it won't dry out because I'm forgetful. Hey, let me show you this out of the machine, and then I'm going to show you my favorite printing project because I laughed so hard. Oh, I'm just taking it out because guess what? Now that that's all done, I'm going to put in the blade module, and then it's going to cut it out, and then I'll show you my favorite print. Okay, I made a lot, by the way, like a lot. I'm going to have a whole second video on just the printer function because I really, 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 really thought it was super cool. Okay, so now it does the whole thing where we mark, where we measure. We've already marked, so we don't have to do that again, and then we can cut it out. Look how easy that is. So I'm just going to pick this up. Straight out of the machine. There's no editing. This is exactly what my formal dining room looks like because I was so excited I set it up in my formal dining room. But this is straight out of the machine. Look at those vibrant colors. Here's my favorite project. Screaming is self-care. I saw these on Creative Fabrica and died laughing. Okay, so now I'm going to swap it out again. Easy peasy. I'm going to put the multi-function carriage. This is everything like foil and embossing. This is fine cutting, blade cutting, and I'm going to also do the rotary cutting. So cool. The left side is the pen and the basic fine point blade. The right side, which is that multifunction carriage, is everything else except the printer and laser module. All right, so now that it's in, I'm going to take off the little drawer. Look at all this stuff that came. Look at all this stuff. Y'all, there's a lot, okay? I used everything. So what you can do is just pop in the pen tool on the left-hand side. You could have it right, then a blade tool on the right-hand side and have it cut. How cool is that? It's pretty cool. Again, this part, I want to show you this stuff because it's super easy to swap. There is no I know it can be intimidating getting a new tool, so there's no reason for you to be intimidated. I put in the rotary blade and cut home decor level fabric. I mean, look how easy that is. Look how easy it comes out. Look, it's perfect. I'm never going to cut a gnome pattern again. But I also cut perfectly cotton for those hair bows and felt.
So I want to talk a little bit about the pros, cons, and maybe some improvements for this machine that I would make if I were designing it, having zero engineering skills. First of all, big pro, it knows its audience and it serves them well. To be honest, this is its biggest selling point. If you are a crafter who likes to dabble in certain things, if you have ADHD and want a whole bunch of, hyper fixations to focus on, this is that unit because it gives you a taste of so much in a single box. Number two, it's kind of easy to use, to be honest. Lasers can be so intimidating, but the easy set material library combined with the sort of basic software is very easy to use. Number three, it's just fun. I asked myself the question, I wonder if it could, so many times, and I was able to simply do it, which is a huge selling point for me because I don't have to be an expert in 90 different things to get what I want out of something. All right, so here's my wish list. I would love, absolutely love, a sublimation ink module. Now you can use sublimation pens. These include Craft Express. This includes Cricut, the infusible ink from Cricut. You can use those pens in the pen tool, but I'd like to see a sublimation ink print module because of the size. Now, when we talk about who this laser is for, my biggest note to you, as someone who now has 4 lasers, do not consider this an everything laser. And what I mean by that isn't materials. It is basically there's no single laser out there that's going to do everything for you. That's just not the way it works. For example, this is a diode laser. It will never, no matter what hack you can try and think of, it will never cut clear acrylic. Hands down, flat out, physics says it's impossible. If you want to work with clear acrylic, you are not going to buy this machine. If you want to dabble in acrylics, this machine is good. As you can see, it cuts acrylic, but it only cuts and engraves certain colors. Number two, this is not a high production laser. So what I mean by that is if you have a business already, let's say you sell crochet or knit hats on Etsy, and you want to create labels that are engravable leather that you can either put your brand on or offer as customization to your customers, this machine will absolutely work perfectly for that. If you want to make 100 engraved and cut wooden ornaments in an hour, this is not that machine. Okay, so I just want to be clear. It can be used for business as a supplement to an existing product line or to experiment with other product lines. It is not a high production machine. There's not really a 10-watt laser that's going to fall into that or a 20-watt laser. If you are looking for just the laser capability, do not buy this machine. Not only is it kind of a waste, but you have a better laser only machine in a 10 watt, a 20 watt, and a 40 watt laser with the xTool S1. This machine is designed to give you a bit of an overall crafting good time. This is not going to be a laser only option. xTool has a much better machine for that, and it is the xTool S1. Bigger working space. It has the riser capability, but more importantly, it has that pass-through capability, allowing you to expand your offerings. So what is my ideal purchase setup? For me, I often am asked, which laser wattage should I buy? 10 watt or 20 watt in the case of the M1 Ultra? Number one answer, buy what you can afford. Okay. Number two answer, more power is never bad, but it also doesn't mean you have to get it. So I'm not going to get into all the details. You can drop me a note below or email me and I will do an in-depth discussion about this. But a 10 watt laser isn't less than a 20 watt laser. 20 watt will produce the same materials, meaning you can work with the same materials as the 10 watt. It will just be faster, a little bit faster. Okay. Now, my ideal setup with either one of those wattages will definitely be to add on the new combined riser and honeycomb. Hands down, it's going to make your woodcuts better. It's going to allow you to have deeper ability, meaning if you want to engrave grandma's jewelry box, you can engrave grandma's jewelry box by just popping the thing on the riser. That's it. Easy peasy. Now, I do want to let you know it doesn't increase the size of what you can create width-wise, but it does increase the depth of what you can create. All right, number two, I'd get the print cartridge. It's just fun. The ability to print on wood is very cool. And I mean, it's my favorite feature. I did so many of these things, really heavy color, really, single color, the testing. I really enjoyed it. And one of my favorite features about this machine is one that I have on another laser from xTool, and that is the pinpoint positioning. I have used the S1 with the pinpoint positioning, and it is my favorite laser to use because I cannot mess it up. That's with the dual cameras in the P2. That's with the camera in the original M1. I'm telling you, the pinpoint positioning is extremely accurate to the point where you can create polygons that allow you to literally follow the entire shape you're putting in there. This is a pre-made bookmark from xTool, and look at this engraving. It's perfectly placed. Do I recommend the air assist? Yes. If you're going to be doing a ton of wood cutting, particularly, absolutely, I do recommend the air assist. Now, if you're only buying this for a cutting machine and you couldn't care about the laser, I have the same exact message to the people who only want the laser. Don't get this machine. So to do what I have done and shown you here today will require additional purchases. Now that means there's going to be bundles. xTool does a really good job about bundling things that they think the majority of people will want to put together. So when this goes live, I do recommend clicking the link down below and going to the site to see what those bundles are. So I hope this gave you a good look at this laser and this cutting machine combo that you could actually have a good bit of fun with. I'm going to put a link down below. It will be an affiliate link. An affiliate link means that if you click the link and you purchase from it, I could earn a commission. As always, I appreciate you being here, whether you're a new friend or an old. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more tutorials on the M1 Ultra and crafting fun.